going to start less than 6 hours. But Kun can override that.
Okay.
So we don't need to edit anything in the link.
So we're live
Yeah,
now,
that's
so
good.
people can
Just
hear
to make
us.
sure.
Yeah, they are
J'ai un HDMI.
Ah, ok, c'est bon. Check.
I hear some. It's probably because I was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I mean, the worst comes to worst.
No, that means that I got sound because I plugged in as a.
You got sounds.
Yeah,
From where?
Is the
Microphone,
of your,
probably.
your laptop?
It might be.
Yeah, I think it's picking up this stuff.
Yeah.
Ok.
Du laptop que tu utilises, tu sais le son de ton.
Yeah, that should work.
Bum, 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 bum.
Let's see what happens here. Plug this in. I hear stuff. I'm not sure what mic.
From the room.
So you have to. You hear that?
Sorry?
You hear that?
Yeah.
It's just a matter of bringing it to.
Do you have an? Hey, you can use your output audio to have sound on in our system.
Yeah, yeah.
In the eye, ici, puis,
This is great. So now.
il y a une salive qui était tirée ici, un peu de... Et
On met la vieille de la
Yes. This one on.
pas récupéré.
It's mirrored.
I also went there with
Alright.
La dièse, c'est ça qu'il faut récupérer avec le
Benjamin. Got another issue.
Ça aurait pris 400 pour faire un mix minus.
Oui, ça aurait été 400 ils sont intégrés, puis c'est pas qu'on va faire après. C'est sûr qu'on peut toujours le faire.
What happens if I mirror it?
Parce que nous, on peut
Shit.
position 6 là. Cédric, ouais, notre 6 là.
Might be on the.
Can you remove the...
It's probably something you guys know. We can mirror the projection. Sure, if it's-
On met ça dans leur
Screen is mirrored, right?
For the computer.
What if I do? This looks pretty mirrored to me.
Is it the app?
Yeah, I think it's the app. Looks like it because the rest of the screen is normal.
How did you connect?
Yeah. No, it's the app you see because the projection.
Non, c'est pour ça que c'est parce que lui, c'est pour envoyer le son du plafonnier.
Can someone else connect to Codecast? The link? See what it's there for the screen. I don't know how to connect.
Sur la scène, mais il faut juste être sûr que ça, c'est on envoie ça dans la plafonnier, puis on coupe ça, pour ça, on ne peut pas faire de tour. Mais quand on l'a fait, on l'a fait.
It's normal. Okay, cool. So that means it's the what? Would that be?
No, that can be that.
Me?
No, it's not you because there it's okay. And it's not the projector because the wall screen is somewhere in the settings. It's that's crazy.
In the crowdcast settings. Let's go back to here.
No, it's on the computer. The computer is alright.
Yeah.
That cannot be.
No, it's not.
I guess it could be here. Yeah, it's here. Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay. I'm just going to switch off.
We're trying to make this more entertaining. That's why the Sesame Street was on earlier. But it's,
Can you turn off the microphone?
can I turn off the microphone on the left? Not sure if we can fully. Let's see. Do we do that? It says external headphones support, that output,
No output, but input.
input. You want the microphone off, or at least the volume down.
Yeah.
I've done that. I hope.
Can we flip that first and then project? We flip the image.
Well, the thing is,
It will be too complicated.
no, the thing is that the screen looks okay if you log in online, but it's mirrored for some reason here.
Yeah.
They might say it's a video capture.
Ah,
Because I tested it, your computer directly into the processing tool, and it's
okay.
and so either it's the card or it's the settings from the USB that you see in the camera.
Right.
It's also similar.
Shall we just
So what's the easiest solution now?
let's just leave it? Or you think you can resolve it now?
Well, online it looks
Because
good.
online it looks okay already.
Yeah, then maybe leave it for now.
Make decision online with your laptop. We use sound system, video system.
I mirror it directly.
I don't know if we want to play it freely, but we have the feedback. I wasn't sure where it was from. We won't need to. Yeah, but I think the mix minus should be done there because we're sending everything that the computer there is receiving. I can improvise and trying to write the fader, but if it's not workable, I don't know if it's. I mean, yes, it was. I was hearing you in the microphone and in the computer. I don't know online how they were hearing. Maybe I can manage.
Let me just present from this thing.
Yeah.
I'll send the slides then.
Okay.
What am I doing? I am not sure if I'm sharing.
You can
I've sent the presentation to you on Slack. I'm not sure if that's a good
I'm
way.
not connected to send it through email.
Did you have to go for
But she's connected.
a brain
Est-ce que tu partageais ton écran?
Ah, fetal brain, ah.
I'll go there. I told them like I'll be treated like strength already happening because it's my future boss is going to be here. So I thought, you know, it would be good to kind of drop by because if I
What's your
don't,
email
it's gonna
address?
not look very good.
But mine's Priya.
Oh,
Will you be involved then in fetal brain research in the future?
Yeah, I don't know
or-
if it's Priya.
So I'm doing
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Camille on that.
Oh, sorry.
is this your email address that you're connected to?
Okay.
No, are you logged in on that computer with this email address?
Yes, I am.
We switched the. I'll let you try that.
I'm sending these slides to your account
So we
that I'm
can
presenting.
try to.
Okay. Can you just you still connected? Did you change anything here? Disconnected the screen or something? No. I'm just trying to get the camera again.
Go to the email then.
Oh,
And then you can download. Yeah, on the tab, search tab.
Not sure who is showing what.
no, it's not. That video thing is not.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Thanks for your patience. We are still setting up the AV. We'll be starting in a few minutes. Thank you.
Let's hope so.
public or everyone consider what AI is and what the data is. Yeah, I think that's very important thing. And as well, that the data literacy has been just started, like in a near like 5 to 10 years only. So there are actually lots of things that we can do right now. Yeah, I'm not sure if this answered your question. Yeah, and we not only to educate or share the concept of literacy with them, but our end goal, the outcome is to keep them engaged with this topic. So for the academic people, for them to engage in this paradigm, the very concrete outcome is that they can add more values to the data. For example, it's the same database for everyone to use. Some research may conduct some results, okay, and then they can give the feedback to the database itself, and or it can give some feedbacks to those who provide this data. So there is some dynamic going on, and that is how to keep the engaging going on. So I think, yeah, that's the
Yes.
ideal.
Thank you so much, Jean. I think, yeah, it's like the kind of work you're doing is really remarkable. And then we are also now happy to share that we've managed to get the other speakers' audio to work. And so let's hear from our speaker, next speaker, Dr. Laina. So Laina, can you hear me? Oh my God. She can hear us. Are you muted? Can you check?
Yeah, you're muted.
Can you unmute yourself?
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
super.
I hear you now.
Yes, we are so happy to be able to hear you now. Welcome to OSR 2023. We are live in Montreal, Canada at the Montreal Convention Center. Lina, could you just give us a brief intro on yourself and your work?
Happy to do so. So I'm Manuel. I'm the founder CEO of a company called Brainside AI, which I started my founder Dr. Rimchand Agarwal. And what we're doing is essentially taking all of this really interesting neuroscience. And bringing it to communities which don't have access to neuroscience. We work with some researchers in India right now, where we enable them to look at language mapping and structure connectomics using our tools. So that's a great introduction talk.
Can you hear me now? No? Yes,
Okay.
you can hear me? Okay. So Lina, can you tell us how you used AI to further enhance neuroscience services using a telehealth model?
So what we do is essentially, in a nutshell, doctors send us their neuro images, which they are able to process in their own hospitals. There's a computation sources or because lack of a team of neuroscientists in the clinical team. And what we are able to do is work those images, run computational neuroscience and AI algorithms in it, and we're able to send this back to the hospitals. Now, where do we use AI in all of this is the fact that a lot of the data that we get, the computational neuroscience algorithms, for example, we are able to map the we publish things on how you use AI algorithms to patterns for schizophrenia, bipolar, OCD. We are currently working on how clinics using a combination of structural and functional clinics you can actually create it much better. These are all, there's a lot of AI in each one of these. We need to be able to identify the patterns and document all of this. And it's a key doctors to use the images of the images and send it back. Now, because it's a cloud platform, so all they need to know is to just
Okay.
we are sent back.
Okay, thanks, Laina. Laina, actually, the line from your side is very erratic, so we only can hear a few words, every other word in the sentence. But let's see if it improves. I'll give a chance now to Hyung to say a few words to introduce himself and the work he's conducting now in AI.
Okay, can you hear me right
Yes,
now?
we can hear you,
Yeah.
Hyung.
Okay,
Let's
thank you.
put you on.
Finally.
Yes,
Thank you.
we
Yeah.
hear you clearly.
My name is Hyung Lee, and I'm currently serving as the head of research at a medical AI startup called Medly in Korea. Our main work is developing an AI-based solution that analyzes brain metabolic information from MRI machine with unique acquisition techniques called MR spectroscopy, shortly MRS. And my interest in MRS started during my graduate years when I first saw the spectroscopy in medical field. I was fascinated to learn about various spectroscopy that can capture the biochemical fingerprints of a subject or sample, and especially in MRS, observing how metabolite change based on the condition of in vivo subject was thrilled me. So since then, I focused my research in making MRS a more impactful molecular imaging modality in neuroscience and accessible tool in the clinical side. In this process, I realized that integrating AI into the MRS could create a tool that make metabolite analysis easier and clearer. As I got my PhD degree, I found my company to advance my research work and make my goal true. So I'm currently working with a team of talented members who share the same vision, like to transform MRS into more impactful and easily accessible tool for professionals and related to neuroscience and clinics.
Thank you, Hyung. So, what I understand is you're using AI to make the analysis and interpretation of brain metabolites more
Yeah, right.
easily accessible. So, how do you um, share this knowledge and technological development with others in the field?
We're in conjunction with neuroscience is keyword is the metabolites, brain metabolites. As you know that in the case of the for example, the GLUE or GABA cycle or minoxidil and glutathione in astrocytes may be key biomarker in neuroscience. So it also captured with the AI. It also captured the MRS, but it's really low concentration in brain inside the brain. So it needs really sophisticated analysis to analyze this. So our team is currently created and built up the AI-based model for the metabolic quantification method. Yeah.
And who do you collaborate with? What is your plans in the future to expand this technology?
Well, first goal is the for the uh, study on the neurodegenerative disease such as for example, for the patients of Alzheimer or MCI patients. So in case of these patients changed before the anatomical morphological change is those patients before the change the metabolite patterns such as myostatin or NAA ratio, and it also glutamate and GABA are also the in similar patterns, similar decrease or increase pattern in those patients. So we are primarily focused on the neurodegenerative disease and in related neuroscientists or professionals. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Uh, let's see if we can get Lina back on, if it's clearer. So,
Can
Lina, how has your technological approach using AI for neuroimaging led you to collaborate with other people in the field, both in academia as well as in the industry?
indeed. So please tell me if you're able to
Yes,
hear me
much
much more
clearer now.
clearly.
Thank you. Much clearer.
Great. I'm glad to hear that. Great. So we have a lot of collaborations with both industry and with academia. So we work with a number of hospitals, over 20 big hospitals in India right now. And with them, there are two ways. One is where you have a number of clinical doctors who are using connectomics, which is what we do, and they want to be exploring new questions about the brain, about a disorder. So we work with them very closely to help them understand how connectomics can be applied to the question that they are looking at. And we provide them our tools so that they can actually process the data. We also have, and since this is about open data, we have very strong agreements with these hospitals on how data can be used. And because this is clinical data, they have very particular requirements around how we use the data. So that's on the industry side. On the research side, we work with some of the top research hospitals here who are again looking at deeper questions, not just clinical questions, but deeper questions around connectomics. And even there, we are very open to looking at, we collect data from so many different sources. And so what happens is each partnership has its own silo in which the data can be used. And so within the constraints of those data constraints, we work with different research hospitals and as well as clinical hospitals.
Okay, thanks, Lina. And what would you say are the strengths and challenges of implementing a telehealth practice in neuroscience? And what points would you suggest to overcome these challenges?
Right. I think the strength certainly is the fact that now I think, given the context of India, you've got a lot of hospitals. It's a vast population, and who don't. Not all of them have access to neuroscience teams, and hence, if you need to be able to, being a telehealth service allows you to be able to cater to all of these doctors. The challenges, of course, I think is again, and I think this is very opportune because it's about open data. Each hospital, and this is very sensitive clinical data, so each hospital has its own requirements around how we should be processing their data. So when you are building a telehealth service which looks at each of these hospitals, there's a lot more thinking you need to do, both on the legal aspects, on the technology aspects. How do you define your cloud? Do you make it a single tenant? Do you make it a multi-tenant? Do you make it on premise for some of these hospitals? Those are some of the kind of challenges that we need to solve for every hospital that we work with.
Okay, thanks, Lina. That's very
Thank you.
insightful. Jean, how about you? What do you think are the strengths and challenges that you have faced, and how do you propose to overcome these challenges?
I think the challenges are somehow mentioned by
Come here to me and also.
so sorry.
Okay.
And for the most challenging I'm facing right now is the trust issue that you mentioned previously, because not only yeah, especially to the doctors, yeah, from the hospital, and of course the ethical issues are very there are some laws, and we are changing it, moderated more frequently than earlier before.
Right.
Yeah, so
I believe, yes, there's definitely a dialogue that everyone involved in this field needs to have, because there's no one size fits all. Every different institution has its own requirements, and definitely an open dialogue is very much needed, right? Hyung, how about you? What kind of challenges do you face in South Korea, and how have you overcome these challenges?
Uh, First of all, impact of the COVID has really pushed in our country. So the importance of telehealth, we expect the law to pass that we allow telehealth to be used only for the re-examination in Korea. But in my major modalities as a neuroimaging, it can be useful to the telehealth, such as the sorry, we, sorry.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. From the perspective of the telehealth related to the medical imaging in my domain, the ability to facilitate information exchange based on the neuroimaging beyond the regional gap could be a huge strength. In area where the patients have limited accessibility due to the lack of the various healthcare professionals, telehealth has its unique strengths as a tool for research, diagnosis, or monitoring that couldn't have been attempted before for those patients. But one of the biggest issues in the field of the medical imaging is the risk of the variability in interpretation and outcomes due to the slight difference in image quality or data managing between institutions. So thus, for some cases, although if there are patients already got medical imaging in local hospital, but it may be possible to move another hospital to the leg of specialty. So in this case, these patients have to get another neuroimaging session in different hospital to avoid the variability in interpretation. But meanwhile, if we use the telehealth and AI appropriately, I believe we could quickly achieve data harmonization and overcoming the issues which I told before, and be able to conduct more standardized medical imaging based on the interpretation. But like or AI-based techniques, telehealth in neuroscience also has its own challenges, especially from the point of handling the medical imaging data. Strict technical stability is most necessary. Moreover, there are other potential risks, such as issues related to data protection and integrity. So to overcome this issue, I think many government agencies, companies are still keep working together to improve cybersecurity for all of us. As a solution provider, I think that is mandatory to provide a solution that meet our medical devices laws and cybersecurity regulations of various countries. Furthermore, we must prepare in advance for potential future security risk and keep monitoring the trend in cybersecurity and clients' experience.
Yes, that's a very comprehensive insight upon what are the things that we need to prepare ourselves for. Um, I think that is definitely points that we need to ponder, and how we can actually overcome these challenges as more technological advances develop. We actually are inundated with more challenges, but we take it in our stride, and experts like you sharing definitely help us to gain more awareness on what is needed to prepare ourselves for this. Uh, Now, I would like to invite our participants to pose questions to either Hyung or Lina. Yes, there's one. Can you introduce yourself and where you're from? Okay. Jean, you can start first, and then we can also ask Hyung and Lina to share. So our participant asked regarding what are the ethical issues beyond trust, how we can overcome this, and also a range of solutions perhaps that you can propose that is relevant to low and middle income countries as well as higher GDP countries.
Thank you very much for your very important question. Yeah. Um, um, so I will consider this question as that what would happen if our data has some bias. Okay, yeah. So especially this is from my psychological knowledge that most of the data were conducted by the weird from the weird cohort, white, educated, industrialized government, and yeah, because so the data will somehow have some bias. That's obviously, but the most important thing is for the researchers and for the data user to acknowledge that, to know that, and some methods in statistical science we can help to somehow adjust this distribution bias or something. We can solve that. But above all, I think the most important question is we need to realize the data, what the data is creating is for whom to use or who to apply to. Yeah, so there are some strategies like we can approach establish a model from the top down or bottom up approach. And the key is to realize what the topic or the task we are trying to solve. For example, I'm going to develop a COVID-19 or some brain fog model or something. I need to realize that whom these brain images come from and how much my data can interpret to or to inference to. So I think we need some concrete definitions about what the usage of this, the angle of this model developed.
Thanks, Jim. Hyung, could you share with us about your
Oh, sorry, my speak. I can hear the questions correctly.
yeah. So our participant asked regarding the data confidentiality and trust issues and how reliable actually this data, right? And how can we overcome such limitations, given if it's like a low or middle income country as opposed to a higher GDP country?
Okay. Depending on the medical environments of each country, the effectiveness of telehealth may vary. And for example, in Korea, doctors who participating in telehealth have expressed concern about the problems such as the duplicate prescription. And after the introduction of the telemedicine, it seems to me systemic management has become a more important issue, I think. And that's all my answer.
Yeah. Is there an angle that you want to add? I would like to pose again to the participant. And sorry, I didn't catch your name. Could you? Yes. Abdul. So the angle that you're asking, your question, one is you said the issue of trust and. Mhm.
So when you're building an AI model that is being validated on data from income countries having their own biases,
Yeah.
and then taking this model, apply it to countries
Yeah.
which can have false biases. How do you
Harmonize this data, is it? Right. So, Lina, this is maybe also very pertinent to what you do because you do connect a lot of your collaborators with the AI solutions that you provide. Lina is in industry,
True.
and so the question is, if you're using the large data sets available from telehealth databases from Western countries, and how can you harmonize it with if you are working in a low to middle income country?
Indeed. I think that's a brilliant question. So in terms of harmonization, and I think this goes back to what Chiang also was saying, that every hospital has different parameters and you need to make sure that your neuroimaging is working with each hospital. So one of the work that we really do with each hospital is making sure that the process that leads to the neuroimaging is a standardized process. So we work really hard. That's the hard part of the work, where we work with the hospital. We make sure that the parameters are set in a certain way. We train them. We make sure that they don't forget it when they're taking the next patient's data. So making sure that one, within the hospitals that we are working with, there is a harmonization in how the neuroimaging data is taken, which will ensure that the results are standardized. One is that. The second, to your question of how do we ensure that if we are taking the data sets from, let's say, a human connectome project or any of the first world data sets, and then how are we applying this to work which we are doing in India, is the fact that we are constantly refining with every data set that we're getting. We are refining, and that's the beauty of AI. You can keep refining and making sure that you are taking in all of the new inputs. Now, how do we ensure that those inputs are indeed regulatorily correct? We ensure that we work to standards like the FDA, the ISO 13485, and all of them. So, and as Hyung also mentioned, the cybersecurity ones. So you'll be making a lot of effort to make the input standardized, to make sure that every input we are learning and that every input that we learn is going through a regulatorily correct process. That ensures that we are not that some of the ethical issues that you raised are addressed. I think there are a lot more ethical issues. There's a whole piece of participatory design, participatory research, AI ethics, bioethics that comes into play when you're building such products. But for the tiny bits that you mentioned, we've addressed those in this way.
Thank you, Lina. Any other questions from the participants? Yes, yes, Jean. Lina, yeah.
And one more thing is that because we take, for example, like the big companies, they already develop some standard structures of all those models. So, of course, there are models built based on the huge cohort, for example, from whatever. Yeah, but why can't we take advantage of that?
Mm.
Yeah, we are all training data, but we don't have that much image, or we don't have that much participants. Maybe we can use their model as a backbone or something, and we can fine tune that with our data. So I think they will help to try to keep the whole model development more efficient. Yeah, so we can. It's nothing bad about that. Just to, we can do something at the model development process and be careful when we are trying to interpret the results. And then I think they'll be okay. Yeah, because our brain are somehow similar or something. Yeah, so we can just take advantage of that. Yeah.
Absolutely. I do agree with you there. Yeah.
Okay. Regarding telehealth, I would like to repeat the question. And you are? Generita from Switzerland. Thank you for that wonderful question. So actually, Generita would like to know, for example, in medicine, we have the World Health Organization, WHO. For telehealth, telemedicine, data sharing, is there any body, a non-governmental organization, for example, that kind of is a vigilante for these practices to kind of see whether there's the bioethics ensured and so forth. Do you have any input on that?
Lina? Yes, Lina.
Yeah, Lina?
So absolutely. So in India, at least, there is a clinic. So there are two pieces. One is when you're doing the research to collect the data, are you making sure that the bioethics are being followed? That comes as part. There's a clinical trial registry in India where you have to really kind of look at. They look at the study design. They make sure that you're taking care of all the ethical issues. You have the ethical committees in hospitals which make sure that you are following all principles. Once you collected the data and created the product, you have to go through a whole set of regulations. Now, that's very country specific. You do not have a WHO kind of body, which is like a worldwide organization. You have the FDA, which does it slightly differently than the CE, which does it slightly differently than the ISO. But broadly, the principles on which they all are built is similar, which ensures that the medical device safety of the AI algorithm that you're developing, there's some sense of process to it, and that it's safe for the patient. So I think that's it's piecemeal. The conversation around a worldwide conversation around AI ethics is just building up right now. It's not there at the point of WHO.
Okay, thank you, Lena. How about you, Hyung?
Yeah, in case of the medical imaging, it's like MRS data sharing in neuroscience. So it is the very regional specific regulation is already have been, for example, for in EU sector it has GDPR, so we can get data for the other countries from outside to EU. So is there some needed to consensus for over the countries, and so yeah, for the patient's data can be more cautions for the data input and output in internet network. So yeah, I think it is more broad, comprehensive consortium need to be in this sector. Yeah, I think.
Thank you, Hyung. Any other questions from our participants, both here and online? Do we have any other questions? Online, no? Okay. So I think that that brings our session. No, there is a question. Oh yes. Okay. What's your name? Sorry, I didn't catch your name. Andrian from Quebec. Okay.
The social acceptability of the use of AI in healthcare in general, and is there kind of agreements in the hospital that you're working with? Are the patients agreeing that are being used for AI and study outside the hospital, or is it just like you're going to the hospital and you're not aware that they're using your data?
Oh, that's a very pertinent question. So, Andriane from Quebec, she asked whether there's any kind of agreement or consent taken from patients that their data can be used for the purpose of AI, developing large data sets and sharing across institutions, whether there's any kind of agreement or consent that has been put in place particularly to your institution in your practice? Yeah, Lina can start there.
Sure, absolutely. Yes, we take informed consent from every patient whose data we take. I think we have the liberty to do that because we work, the kind of connectomics work we do is very new. So what happens is we can set the tone, and the way we've set the tone in the hospitals is that we take the informed consent for every data set we take from the patient. However, for other AI algorithms, maybe like for heart or maybe EEG, those are the ones where there's already tons of data in the hospital. And that's where the question which you asked, which is, are they taking informed consent by going back to all the patients? I don't think so, but I don't think that's possible also at this point of time. So for us particularly, every data of ours comes under informed consent.
How about Hyung? This is about
Yeah.
consent and agreement from the patient for reuse of their data.
Yeah, sure. Based on the study proposal in basically step in South Korea, for example, for the data use, patient data use must need to the IRB for the and in this case, in these steps, it should be added to the informed consent material, and notice for the patient is must be included in this in the neuroscience step or neuroscience or other medical imaging based studies in South Korea. So quite strict regulation in here. So it is now it is really hard to multi-site court or summarize a multi-site court or expand the other institution is quite hard in South Korea, for example. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. There any more questions? Jean, sorry, Jean's yeah, Jean's been here and she's prepared now to answer her part. Jean, it is about the consent from the patients, right?
In Taiwan, actually, AI is a very fancy term that goes everywhere in advertisement and anything. If you are applying for a government grant, as long as you put AI somehow somewhere, there's high probability that you'll get accepted. Yeah. So, but in the clinics, actually, the situation is quite extreme. So, for example, in AI clinics, those people has actually some interest in AI actually. So there's not much problem to get some informed consent from them. So for those who are against that, they will choose the typical clinical department to see the doctor. So yeah, that is very different. Yeah, okay, be sure.
Thanks, Jean. Yes, I think across the board, there are some similarities on the practices of the reuse of data. So I think now it brings us to an end for our first panel discussion. It went very well, although there were some glitches in the beginning. I think it was a very interesting dialogue with the panelists and our audience. We were so happy to get questions. That shows that there is definitely an interest in this field, and a lot of work still needs to be done. May I just wrap it up in a nutshell? Some important points to ponder. Firstly, we have to think about data confidentiality, how we can keep this data protected, and also whether this data is skewed and biased, especially most data coming from weird countries, the Western industrialized countries, how to harmonize with the rest of the world. But as Jean has proposed, we can use it as a stepping stone and make it like a way to validate data from elsewhere in the world. The important part is to actually keep up with the regulatory guidelines, publish your research, your protocol, so that it can be reused rather than burying it somewhere. Publish your protocol, let it become a standardized way that we can harmonize data from anywhere in the world. This allows for better transfer of data across institutions, sharing of data in a seamless way for better clinical management. Cybersecurity preparedness is another issue that we have to face, and being aware of the bioethics involved, and definitely a potential to seek the patient's consent for their anonymized data, especially if you're a researcher doing an experimental research. You have to go through your ethical institutional committee. And however, not all secondary data, you have to go directly to the patient to get consent. As long as you anonymize it, keep their identity confidential, it's not traceable back to them, it's reusable with the permission of your regulatory boards. So this way we can all benefit from the data and improve on our clinical management and data transfer. Thank you very much, everyone, for your attendance. And if you're still interested in this topic, please come again at 11:30 a.m. We will have an informal discussion. It's called Table Topic, so you can have just like a chit chat, no presentations, but everyone's free to share their opinion. 11:30 this morning. Thank you again to our speakers.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And see you soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We took a photo, a screenshot.
I ambil gambar.
Dah dia tadi. Ada kan muka semua. Lina and Hyung, if you're available, you're free to join us at 11:30, but I understand that due to time difference, it may be very late. So it's all right if you can't join us. It's just an informal chit-chat. And this talk that we just had, it is recorded and it's available online. Anybody can listen to the recorded. You can share with your collaborators as well.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
in fact,
Yeah, we
I
can take
have,
a screenshot with
Ah.
the speakers. Actually, Nabila took one earlier, but we can take another one. You're more prepared.
I want to take a screenshot. Yeah.
Okay, just look into your camera and smile.
Jin, I'm not included. Jin, come here.
Jin, come.
Oh shit. Okay.
Look there.
Like this.
Can I take one with the participants for remembrance? Yeah.
Standing there in the corner.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, look here. I think we didn't have a cameraman earlier on, but we can are we okay to share this on Twitter? Okay,
Yes,
thank
indeed.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Abdul, come in.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you,
have a
Hyung, and thank you,
picture.
Jean.
Yay. Nice one. Okay.
Thank you,
I will
Raina.
put it on Twitter.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr.
Hi.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. I one note that in fact I have an appointment, another online meeting after this session. So
This session.
yeah, it is hard
We're going to try
to
and fix some.
follow discussion. Yeah.
I'll leave you chat. But at one point, we're going to break the session off to start fixing all the issues that were happening. But thanks so much for your patience and participation. Thanks so much.
Okay. Wow.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Stop the session and broadcast.
If you want to zoom,